Welcome back to part 4 of the silver cell anode filters video series. I'm still dealing with the DMG precipitate. Some in here. So now we're going to pour this back through another filter and try to capture the precipitate that's in the bottom of this flask. I've captured the precipitate in this filter. Now what we'll do is transfer the funnel and the filter into another flask. This is going in my stock pot. Now I've got a little bit of precipitate that is formed in this beaker. So what we're going to do is try to dip this out and get it into this funnel. Let's rinse this out real good. There's a little bit of palladium in here. Let's move these out of the way now. I've transferred the precipitate into these two beakers. And what we have left now is our main beaker here that's got our solids in it. And what we'll do is I'm going to try to filter this solution now into this filter flask. This is a solution I've been trying to filter for about a week now. It's very gelatinous, and I cannot get any more of this liquid to pull through down into this flask. So what I think we'll do here is take this filter off of here. And now what we'll do is just the liquid that we did collect in this large flask, I'm going to refilter it into this smaller filter here. Should pull right through. Okay, that was a mistake. This solution here has got something in it that causes it to plug these filters up. So we're just going to take this now, pour it out into this beaker. Yeah, I have no idea what to do with this solution. So I'm just going to pour it off into this beaker right here. It's already been filtered. I don't know what's in it, but it's got a thick gelatinous consistency that plugs up our filter. Alright, I'm tired of horsing around with this stuff. It's been sitting here for a week. So what we're going to do, put a piece of copper in here. This is going to have palladium and silver in it, but I don't know what else. I'm just going to put it in here and we're going to cement the palladium and the silver out of this solution. This filter's plugged up with it. I don't know what it is. Just going to stick it in there. Get that thing cleaned up. Take this, add it to our beaker here with the copper. I'm going to try to get this thing out of here. This is some gelatinous mess. Not even sure what that is. Just going to put the whole thing right into this beaker and let it all cement out. And then we're going to burn it and then try to separate it after we burn it. Add some water to this. Give this a stir. Like I said, I don't know what's in here. It's got some kind of weird compound that's formed. So we'll just let this all cement out onto that piece of copper. And then we'll recover the metal that cements out in here. It's going to be palladium and platinum, or palladium and silver mixed. And then we'll get that out of there. Melt it up into some metal. And then redissolve it. And the heat from melting, hopefully, will take care of whatever it is in there that's plugging our filters up. Let me move this out of the way now. You can see the metal's already starting to cement out. Now what we'll do is put another filter in here. We're going to keep filtering out our solution from our main batch of solids in this beaker. Look down in here. Looks like pudding. Kind of shakes like pudding. A lot of mess. Alright, now while we try to figure out what to do with these solids, let's pour this liquid off. A little bit of DMG here. I'm going to add it to this solution. It should have some palladium in it. Now let's see if we can capture our solids in a filter paper. Here's the solids. Here we go. See what happens. Try to get all these solids down into this filter and get all that liquid removed from it. I've still got quite a bit of solids in here, but this filter over here is full. So what I'm going to do now, I guess, is go ahead and try to rinse this out a little bit with some distilled water. Move our solids out of the way. I'm still rinsing these. I'm pulling up a big beaker. And what I'll do is just add this liquid. It has a piece of copper in it into a larger beaker. There's the piece of copper that the silver and the palladium are cementing out onto. Alright, this solution back here that I added DMG to it is doing nothing. Looks like coffee. I don't know what that is. I'm just going to go ahead and put it right on in here and cement it out with this other material that I'm not sure what we've got in solution here. Going to cement everything on copper, get all the silver and the palladium cemented out, and then we'll just start all over. Got all the liquid pulled off. Now what we'll do is take our solids, put them in this dish, install a new filter to this funnel, and now we'll collect the rest of our solids in this filter. Got all the liquid pulled out of these solids now. So what we'll do is add this to our melt dish over here. Take this and add it to our beaker in the back here, and cement any precious metals out of this solution onto this copper in here. Now we'll take our solids, put it in the furnace, and burn this. We've got this up around 900 Celsius, about 1700 Fahrenheit, and you can see in here, oh yeah, it's nice and toasty. Let's go ahead and turn the oven off. Let's get this out of here. Let's take this in and let this cool off. While I wait for this to cool, let's go back over here and give this a stir. This is our stuff we have cementing on a piece of copper in here. This has been allowed to cool completely. Pieces of metallic silver in here. We'll just set these off to the side. I'm going to add a little bit of distilled water to this. I'm going to set this up on the heat now back here. I'm adding some nitric acid. I'm going to try to pull anything out of here that's soluble in nitric. Might still be a little bit of palladium and silver in here, so here we go. Just a little bit of nitric. Cover this up. Let this cook in that dilute nitric acid for a while. All right, we've had this boiling for about a half an hour. Let's take this down off the heat and let it cool down. I don't see anything showing up there, or very little. Traces only. Drop a couple ice cubes in here to help cool this off before we try to filter it. All right, this is cooled off. Let's go ahead and try to capture the solids in this filter. Liquid's pulling through that filter very quickly. Let's go ahead and get the rest of these solids now out of the beaker and into this filter. What we're going to do now is empty the liquid to our beaker back here. It's got some copper in it. Any precious metals in this liquid that I'm pouring off will cement out onto that copper. Let's get the rest of this material in the beaker, or in the filter rather. Okay, we've got most of this liquid pulled off of here now. What we'll do is take our solids. I'm going to put them in this beaker. I'm adding some hydrochloric acid to the solids. Cover this up. And we're going to put this up on the heat now. I'm adding a couple of squirts of nitric acid. Form aqua regia in there. Let's see if we can get some of this stuff to dissolve. I really do not know what we're going to end up getting out of here. I'm going to add another shot of nitric acid. And we'll let this continue to react for a little while. Been on now for about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I'll reach in here and get a little bit of this solution on a piece of filter paper. Let's do a stannous test. Oh yeah, that black stain means that we've got gold in solution. I'm going to pull this down off the heat. Put some ice in here and try to cool this down a little bit before we try to filter it. It's cooled off pretty good by now. Let's go ahead and try to get the solution filtered now. I did 3 stannous tests on this solution, and I do see a little bit of orange color and some green, but I think it's going to be mostly gold. So now we're going to take these solids down off of here, set this off to the side. I'm going to add the solution to this beaker. Here we go. We're going to use some stump out and precipitate out the pure gold. Here we go. Oh yeah. That's a respectable amount of gold in there. Alright, let's see what we got left in here now. Stir this up a little bit. I'm going to stick a piece of filter paper down in here. Let's check this with Stannis. Just see what we got going on, if anything. I think we got the gold out of that solution. There's just a trace of orange coloring and maybe a little bit of a brown coloration that may indicate some platinum and palladium left in our solution. I think we've got the gold to drop. I've allowed the gold to settle for about a half an hour. And you can see it's got a pretty decent amount down on the bottom of this beaker. All right, here's the gold down in the bottom of our beaker. All right, this flask is full. This liquid in here is going to contain traces of platinum group metals. Let's see. Now what we'll do is get our gold down into this filter. Let's get our gold into this small beaker. Let's add some hydrochloric acid. Now I'll put some sulfuric acid in here, just in case we got any lead, just a little bit. Now we'll add some nitric acid. That's 1 3 milliliter dose. Let's put this up on the heat now. I think we got everything in solution. Let's pull it down off the heat now. Let it cool off. I'm going to slip a couple ice cubes in here. Let it cool this down a little bit. Real good. Now what we'll do is add some stump out, precipitate out the gold a second time. Here we go. Nice. Should do it. Let's get our gold into this filter paper. Rinse this with a little hydrochloric acid right in the filter. Now let's get this down into a melt dish. Let's go over to the melt table. I'm going to melt this up a little ingot here. Here's a little ingot of pure gold that we just melted. And it looks like a lot more. There's probably about 10 grams here at least. 14 grams, almost a half ounce of pure gold from those silver cell anode filters. Nice. I'll take it. Okay, this will conclude part 4 of the silver cell anode filters recovery and refining videos. Thank you for watching.